back, and I also have my special guest back with me. So please put your hands together for Christian Slater. Conan O'Brien, Dr. O'Brien. Rose Byrne. Reaction should just say it all. But Mary, let me start with you.
Okay.
I loved what you said in your introduction about this movie being about the worst thing that's ever happened to you and the worst thing that happened to you today.
Yes.
And those two scales, like actually a disaster is happening, but also I missed the train and now I want to jump into the Hudson. You know that feeling.
100%.
Can you talk about what sparked the idea for the movie? I mean, what was the kind of detail? Was it one of the small things? Was it one of the big things? You know, what in your own life maybe made you realize that there was a movie in this feeling that we all have sometimes?
Well, I think it was a convergence of all of those things at once. So the very seed of the idea, the very beginning of the idea, came to me through a real life situation that happened when my daughter was quite young, when she was ill. However, I like to say that is her story to tell, if and when she wants to tell it. But for me, when I was going through that situation, we were transplanted from New York, our home, to California. And we lived in a very small motel room for 8 months together as roommates. And I didn't do the things that Linda does in the movie. But my escape was to go into the motel bathroom every night and shut the door and turn on the lights and sit on the tile floor and drink cheap wine. And there's a lot of Jack in the Box involved, a lot of junk food, a lot of disgusting microwave meals, a lot of candy. And I felt myself, I felt a existential terror. And that's really the basis of this film. And what that terror was I felt myself disappearing. Disappearing into the task at hand, which was getting back to New York. And then also disappearing when I realized, oh, wait a minute, we are gonna get back to New York. And then what? Then what happens? And then what am I? What am I without this job? And that's where it started for me. And it was sort of, I think that as human beings, when we have something so gargantuan that's happening to us, all the little things start adding up so that they start to feel equal. So like something as bad as a loved one being ill or something like that, and then you sit down and write a note, and your pencil breaks, and that you just can't take it anymore, and that's the tenor, the tightrope that I'm walking here.
I a few days ago, I lost one earring of a pair of new earrings I had bought, and nothing else has made me want to jump into the Hudson as much as that did. So, you said something so beautiful right now about how your daughter's story is hers to tell. And I feel like that's reflected in the film in the way we never see the daughter, the kid, right? It's such a specific choice.
Yes.
Can you talk about that choice?
Yeah. There's two reasons for that choice. One is conceptual, and that is that Linda, we are so in Linda's point of view. It's the only reality that we are experiencing during this film. There's no other reality that we can check against. And in her reality, she's in a kind of state where she cannot see her daughter in a figurative sense. She cannot see her daughter as a little, tiny, beautiful, angelic little girl and derive any joy in a normal mother-daughter relationship. And so I decided to make that a literal non-seeing. And then the other part of it is a calculation on my part, where as human beings, it's just how we're wired, unless you have no soul. If you introduce the face of a child into a scene where there's a peril or danger or something that could be happening to the child, or even or even not, even if it's just a scene with a mother and a child, your sympathy and your empathy and your attention is going to go to the child. And what I wanted to do in a very radical way was take that out of the equation.
Rose, I'd love to talk to you about this tremendous performance. I feel like there's almost a trend of movies about motherhood being hard. I mean, it's a subject that's always been captivating, but I think recently I've seen a lot of books and movies about it.
I think it's really easy.
What? Okay. But I think you do something, you walk this like incredibly delicate balance where neither do we always feel sorry for Linda, nor do we always feel sort of opprobrium, you know? I mean, watching Linda, you feel her pain. I mean, I felt it so deeply in my bones, but I'm also able to see that she's making bad decisions, you know? And so, like, how, you know, tell me about, like, receiving the script, how did you approach this role and those little emotional calibrations?
Well, my agent sent me the script, which is a very discerning woman, and she said, I think you need to take a look at this one. And she said that maybe once before. So I immediately devoured this script, which was just like Mary really, you know, set the page on fire when she wrote this. It was an extraordinary screenplay. Very much what you see up here is on the page. Like, for example, the hamster is described as Jack Nicholson in The Shining, trying to get through the wall, right? So that, you know, I like put the script down and was laughing and like, oh my God, and, you know, like all the, you know, and then closed the script and thought, oh God, I'm gonna have to do this, and this is terrifying, and like, how am I not gonna, I can't fuck this up, and where do you begin? Like, where do you begin with this character? And we began at the beginning. I mean, literally, it was like everyone responds different to a crisis, right? And this is, you don't get any information about her, you don't know who she is, and that was our job, was to just dig down and find out who she was before this. Because you don't want to see an actor's homework, but you want it to feel lived in, or, you know. But yeah, to your point, it is a tightrope, absolutely. This sort of, and anything to do with being, you know, a mother is obviously extremely.
So moms are either saints or demons, you know, in culture.
They're ignored or they're revered.
Rarely,
like,
yeah. Exactly.
It's a study in contrast. So so we just started at the beginning and started peeling back the onion, and we sat at Mary's kitchen table for 5 or 6 weeks, 3 days a week, and just talked and went through every line, and that we just really started at the beginning. Yeah.
And am I correct that you have a master's in psychology?
That's me.
That Mary has a master's in. I definitely want to talk to you about therapy, but let me talk to Conan first about therapy. Conan, are you in therapy?
This is the longest I've ever been quiet. In front of what's clearly an amazing crowd, and it's pure hell.
Well, I'm in the driver's seat now. But, Conan...
I'd like to thank Rolex, by the way. Your performance, I mean, I think maybe being a talk show host is maybe not that different from being a therapist, I imagine, but... You're dealing with sociopaths. Yeah. And you are dealing with a little bit of a sociopath in this movie. Let's be honest. But you're also someone who's genuinely, in the movie, your character is someone who's like genuinely fazed by this. You know, you're just like this torrent of a woman. And yeah, I'm just curious. I mean, yeah, what is your relationship to therapy? Did you bring any of that into the film? What's your relationship?
Clearly, it hasn't been good.
Like,
I'd say ineffective. Freud said that the Irish are immune to therapy. That is a quote. He said it works on everyone but the Irish. And he died of a terrible throat tumor. But anyway, I looked at this person. I mean, I cannot say enough about these two women. Mary wrote this incredible script. She has absolute mastery of tone. She has this incredible story to tell. She's such a competent director and leader, and she had such a vision, and she saw it so clearly. And then when Rose came on, I thought, good God, I have to do this right, or I have to service this movie correctly, because, and I said to Mary, please don't hire me. And she said, you know, you're cheap, you're available. But she worked with me I mean, that was the thing that saved me so many times in my life, is just prepare, work hard, and really put a lot of thought into things. And then you can't be in a scene with Rose and phone it in or do anything less than your best, because you know, I believe she's one of the best actors alive, period, today. And you can't be in a small room with her. She hates a compliment too, hates it. So I love to ladle them on, and you look beautiful. But you cannot be in a small room with her doing a scene and not have every cell in your body activated and trying to do the right thing. So combine all those things together, and this is a script that fascinated me and a subject that fascinates me, so it was kind of a dream.
and Christian.
I did phone it in. Thanks,
Well, what were your thoughts when you got the script and it said, "We don't want you on screen"? I'm kidding, but it's a beautiful, it's such a wonderful mystery. Like, you're ever present, you know, your voice is always there. You're doing all the work with your voice. And your voice has to convey tenderness and impatience, but also, like, you're absent, dude.
Yeah.
You know? Talk to me about receiving the script and kind of, how was this different maybe from other...
Well, yeah, I mean, this was definitely the first time that somebody's, you know, not wanted to film me. So, and you know what? That's okay. That's fine. No, not really. I'm hurt. No, it was definitely a different experience. God, don't be funny, Christian. You're sitting next to Conan. Just shut up and just do your thing. But yeah, look, Mary told me about the project and the character, and I think it made a lot of sense. It just isolated Linda, put her on her own completely, having all these other voices sort of surrounding her and yelling things at her, and it just put her in a position of being very isolated. And it's really her story and her journey and what she's going through and all the struggles that she's dealing with. And but what a great performance, and your performance too. I just have to say, it was just phenomenal. Yeah.
Like I said, I want to come back to the master's in psychology. It just is a delicious extra layer to the story about a mom falling apart, that she's a mental health professional who's hitting on her therapist, and it did the whole thing. So, talk to me about making her a therapist, and that the whole psychologist's office being such an important setting of the film.
Yeah. Well, the thought of her being a therapist actually came to me a few years ago. My therapist, not my current therapist, but one therapist ago. I've had many therapists, but of varying scale and types. And so this therapist, just as an aside, said one day, well, my therapist, and then immediately my ears shut off, and I'm just thinking, well, wait a minute. Okay, so my therapist has a therapist, and then that therapist has a therapist, and that therapist has a therapist, and a therapist, and sort of who is the guy? Who's the top therapist?
Someone who is perfectly healthy.
Yeah, and can I just go to that guy? Can we just skip it? And so one of the first notes that I wrote, and I showed it to Rose in my journal, it was Linda therapist, ? And that's kind of where it came from. But the idea that they should be then in the same office suite is just that, is just a way also to just make a total abstraction and absurdity over the idea of a therapist having a therapist, and in that space also I made a complete abstraction. It's completely white. It has the noise machines going. I felt like I wanted it to be like a spaceship. I wanted it to be like 2001, Space Odyssey. And if you notice, even the art on the wall there's art, but it's white. It's nothing. And it's, you can argue, is that what it really looks like? Or is that how it feels to Linda? We don't know. But that's how that idea came about. And then for me, I worked therapeutically with children in the New York City public hospital system for about 8 years, while I was not making a living at art, but still always writing on the side. And all of those years, all of that experience, all of those things, all goes into the ability to make a movie like this, to write a script like this, because it's if you come out of film school and you just make a movie, and then you make a movie, and then you make a movie, and then you make a movie, what are you making movies about? What are you making movies about? You're making movies about movies at the end of the day.
There's many of those here.
Oh, there are many, many of them. And that is not what I ever wanted to do. I want to make movies about life, but about the feeling of life, which is why this is not, I don't tell this in a verite style, I tell this in an expressive style, and yeah, I hope that answers your question.
We don't have a lot of time left, but I wanted to ask you all how it's been traveling with this movie to different festivals, and what are some reactions that have surprised you? Because
a lot of laughs tonight. A lot of laughs in New York. You guys very sophisticated. You were right there. Or not. No, I don't know.
No, they get it.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
It's yeah, we've been everywhere with this movie. We started our adventure in Sundance at our premiere. We've quite literally gone all the way around the world. We opened the Melbourne Festival, which was an extraordinary experience. We were in Berlin, we were in Canada, we were all over. We were just in LA. And what I would say is that what has been one of the most satisfying things for me, I think, as an artist, is people coming up to me directly after these screenings, and people that I wouldn't expect that would engage with this material, coming up to me and engaging with it on a very, very deep and personal level, in a way that just has moved me, and I think that has surprised me. Young people with no thoughts in their heads of being a mother, young men, all men. Any man have found themselves in this film, which is not the obvious audience. And what it has taught me is that I was correct in my assumption that if you tell a story about a very complicated person, I trust the audience. And I was right. You can trust the audience to find themselves in there somewhere, even if it has nothing to do with them.
An experience I've had, I think we've all had it, is people want to talk about it afterwards.
Yes.
And to me, that's a huge achievement because there's so much media, there's so much film, we all have our tablets, we're bombarded all the time, and we take things in passively and we move on. And everyone I have any relationship with who's seen this has insisted on speaking to me afterwards and has a lot of questions, and they have all kinds of very visceral reactions to it. And I think that's, again, a testament to the vision, the performance. It's just, they want it. And they're going to the wrong person. I don't necessarily have all the answers. And even at the screening last week in Los Angeles, we've screened it, we're about to come up on stage and do this, and A$AP Rocky is asking me, what do I think about a scene, and what do I think is happening? And I'm like, we have to go out and talk about the movie. I can't give you those answers.
It was a scene he wasn't in.
It was a scene he wasn't in, and he was like, now do you think that your character, and do you think that Linda, and I looked at him, and he's so charismatic, and he's so handsome, and he's dressed in such cool style, and I was wearing this suit, and I'm talking to him, and I saw a reflection in like a mirror as just before we went out, and I said, Rocky, it looks like I'm here to sell you insurance. And then we went out, but he wants to talk about it. I mean, and he's in the movie, so I think that's, again, a testament to what this is. I think movies like this are a rarity.
Absolutely. Well, I want to keep talking about it, but we are out of time. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you.